In today's channel message from the angels, they answer one of your questions, which is why don't they really talk about the evil on the planet, the battle that's unfolding around us? Why don't they ever talk about that? And here the angels answer that question. So welcome back to my channel, you guys. If this is your first time here, my name is Ann Tucker. I am a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm. And that means I raise my awareness up as high as I can go, and then I push it a little bit higher. I connect, the energies come through, and then I transcribe them and share them here with you guys on YouTube. And so today they give us a fairly comprehensive answer to that question of why they don't really talk about the battle that's unfolding here, the evil on the planet. And they do acknowledge it exists, but they don't spend a lot of time talking about it. They've definitely shared a lot of details with us about what's coming and about a lot of other things, earth changes and political changes. Why not that? So here they go into it. So I hope you guys enjoy the message. If you would like to experience healing with the angels, we have a very special session of peace bathing. It's going to be on Easter Sunday. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can. I will put the link in the description box down below. So peace bathing is something we do every month, and it is a beautiful healing over Zoom remotely with the angels. So I hope you guys enjoy the message. Okay. We say you are wondering where we are. How is this happening? What is about to pass? You are all tranquil within the thought of our passage. And now we arrive empty to share the betrothal to what is now becoming. Your awakening transports itself through the cosmos to arrive here now. A time and place of waiting where you have been meets now arriving that eventuality you have foreseen. So very cool opening. So what they're saying is they're answering this question that we have about, what is going to pass, what's happening with these energies on the planet. They're saying that you are all tranquil within the thought of our passage. So as the angels are near us, as they are moving through our thoughts, we become tranquil. They say, and now we arrive empty to share the betrothal to what is now becoming. So it is as we empty out our karma, as we empty out our junk, we become clear. Right? Empty is another way of saying clear. As we become empty, they are there with us, and they share our betrothal to what is now becoming. So that's like they really are tied to us. Like your guardian angel is not a separated being sort of standing behind you hovering. It's like they are much more integrated to who you are. And so they're sharing this betrothal to the new time coming. So they're moving with us into this new way of being. And it's not a light commitment. It's a betrothal. It's wedding ourselves to a new state of consciousness. And they say your awakening, I love how they say this, transports itself through the cosmos to arrive here now. I think this is a great way of understanding how the angels see things. That we think of time as being linear, and they think of things as possibilities, right? As potential outcomes. So they say this potential outcome came through the cosmos and came here now. And here it is now. And so that's more like how they would perceive it. This awakening transports itself through the cosmos to arrive here now, a time and place of waiting where you have been. So we've been in this state of mind of sort of waiting for all this. We've been talking about the age of Aquarius since the 70s, right? People have been talking about this for a really long time and thinking it's just right around the corner for a really long time. And they're saying it meets now arriving that eventuality you have foreseen. So, and you're saying, who has junk? Not me. No, of course not. I know junk. Yeah. Okay. So they go on to say, next paragraph, and again, I'll read you the paragraph and then we'll break it down. They say, we wake you all gently, pressing. We speak the words that come to mind, that refresh your outlook and open you further, that leave you more tranquil than when we started and less entrenched in the beleaguered environment through which you pass. We are speaking how we're feeling, the truth of now passage, to mourn you with no tidings of otherworldly devilishness. This, the unspeakable, unfathomable darkness that resides hereunder, we speak not of this. So this is answering the question. They're saying, yep, we don't really talk about it that much. They're acknowledging they don't. So they say, what they do, they wake us all gently, pressing. Right? They're always trying to help us to move forward, move into that next state of consciousness, to help us. They're always trying to help us to move in to our highest and best, right? And they say, we speak the words that come to mind, that refresh your outlook and open you further, that leave you more tranquil than when we started and less entrenched. So they, when the angels are with us, they have a uniformly positive influence on us, right? That they're always trying to give us hope. Like when you feel most down, when you feel most depressed, when you feel like giving up, it is that you know an angel's been near you. When all of a sudden you have this, it's almost like you forgot for a minute that you should be angry. It reminds me of when you have a child who's throwing a tantrum and they're in the middle of crying and fussing, and then you hand them something they really want, and for a minute they completely forget that they were angry and they take it, and it takes them a few minutes to remember that they were angry. And that's what it's like when an angel is near. It's like you might be in the depths of despair, and then for just a moment you get like a whiff of hope. Like, oh my gosh, it's like an opening, an opening in your darkness. And so they're saying they refresh your outlook and open you further. So if you're already open, they create more opening, more possibility, to leave you more tranquil than when we started. So they're never, when they say that more tranquil than when we started, angels are never going to tell you things that are going to, where you're not going to walk away feeling more depressed and more down. They're going to be bringing you hope and lifting you up. So their messages, they don't want to share messages with us that draw our energy down, right? So and less entrenched in the beleaguered environment through which you pass. So the one exception to that is that if we are doing something that has us super entrenched in our own illusions, they might do something to dispel those illusions, right? To help us move more into clarity, into truth, to help us move forward in terms of our own awareness. So these are the ways in which we are going to feel when we're around the angels. So this is what they do want to do. They say we are speaking how we're feeling. This is what they're doing, speaking how they're feeling. The truth of now passage. So really for them, it is just about being in the truth, right? And talking about what is true right now, trying to bring us back to the awareness of the present moment, the awareness of the present reality, and away from all the places that our head goes, from all the when we worry, we're never in the present moment, right? We're always worried about what used to happen or what just happened, or we're worried about what might happen, right? That any anxiety that you have, it doesn't come from this second. It's our mind spinning. And so they're saying they're trying to speak the truth of now, right? And to bring us back to this now moment. And they don't warn us with tidings of otherworldly devilishness. So they don't want to warn us. That's what they're saying. The unspeakable, unfathomable darkness that resides here under, we speak not of this. So that's an acknowledgement. Yeah, they know it. They don't really talk about it that much. All right, next paragraph. They say, you wonder, what can we be about to share not this opening? To register with yourself and never allude to the vibrations of counterpoint and empty, hollow supposition that reside here. The template is disturbing to yourselves. It is happening where you are. A victory unfolds for your very soul. So, and they're just speaking here to our, like, being puzzled by that, saying, why is it that they don't really talk to us about it? And they say to never allude to the vibrations of counterpoint, to the things that are against us, right? The things that we find ourselves up against. That check our growth or check our opening or check our happiness. And the empty hollow of supposition that rides there. So supposition is when you don't, it's like not having faith. Supposition is when you suppose, but you don't really know. It's more of a questioning. It's that feeling of it's an empty, hollow faith is really what supposition is. It's a feeling of being empty and hollow and not really feeling faith. So that is all going to be wrapped up in fear. And so they're really speaking in a beautiful way to the core of what dark energies might be attracted to, which is an empty, hollow supposition, lack of faith based on fear. So in a template, very disturbing to ourselves. But they say here, so it is happening where we are, but they also say a victory unfolds for your very soul. And I love how they're acknowledging in that statement that this is a competition for our soul, right? There might be dark energies that would like to have control over our soul, but they don't ever call it a competition because in their mind it isn't one. It is simply a victory. A victory unfolds for your very soul. They're acknowledging that there is somebody out there who may want to have an influence over your soul. They're saying, it's not a fight, it's a victory. It's a victory. It is determined from the start, right? Super cool. And they go on to say, who you are withers now in the presence of the truth-enabled beings who reside with yourselves. Those who would take over, we will not allow them. This is all the knowing you require. Faith, dears, permanence is the fabric of your being. You do not have to intercede, to resist them now, to play the folly of some role to aid from their enchantment. They will die. They will move on. There is no disquiet where we are. So they have a really different perspective of what is happening with this whole, the battle that's happening on Earth between the dark and the light. They don't see it the same way. And they always have this angelic perspective. And you're saying, is this why they don't want to spend time talking about the things unfolding on the planet? Yeah, and they do tell us the things that we need to know in terms of keeping ourselves safe, like the general awarenesses that we need to have. They've shared a lot of information with us about that. But yeah, this is exactly why they don't really talk about all that stuff that is happening, right? The activities of dark energies on the planet. So to break this paragraph down, they say, who you are withers now in the presence of the truth-enabled beings who reside with yourselves. So who you are withers now. So they're saying that these energies, the dark energies, do draw away our light. They do draw us down. So that we wither in their presence, right? They do bring our vibration down. And it's the presence, and they call them truth-enabled beings. There's so much in every paragraph. I feel like we have to break them all down to really talk about it, to understand the richness of what they're describing here. So truth-enabled beings. So they're saying that who reside with yourself. So they're here on Earth, and they are truth-enabled. They understand that everything is energy. They know how to work with energy. They know about what we are and what our essence is. So they are enabled by that truth. So they do have greater access to us on a deeper level because they are enabled by that truth, by that understanding of how things really work and who they are and who they're against, right? So important sentence there. And Brandy is saying, I love this perspective. Some people are too obsessed with the fear of the darkness. Yeah. And I think that's really what they're saying. So then they go on to say, those who would take you over, we will not allow them. So they're acknowledging here, that is their aim. Their aim is to take us over. And the angels say, we will not allow it. It's not going to allow it. And there's never a moment that they falter, right? They said right in the beginning, a victory unfolds. There's no question in their mind how this is going to turn out. They don't even entertain it as a conflict. They never mention that it's a conflict, or as a contest, because it's not. There is no contest here. It's already predetermined. There is no way they can win. So, which that's nice to know, right? So they say, we will not allow them. This is all the knowing you require. Faith, dears. Permanence is the fabric of your being. So it's like saying, like, you can't be killed. We are immortal beings. You do not have to intercede, to resist them now, to play the folly of some role, to aid from their enchantment. They're saying that they really, and I think this gets to that what you resist persists. That if we put a lot of energy into fighting something, anything that you fight endures because you're putting energy into it. So they're saying you don't really need to do that. You don't need to do that. If anything, it's going to prolong the battle, this battle that we're in. It's going to add energy into it. The polarity that we've been in creates opposition. It drives, it escalates polarity. And there has been an important role for that polarity in the planet. We've been drawing up that energy up so we can see it and clear it. And that is a necessary function. Like, we want to draw the energies up. So the degree that this polarity would trigger you, phenomenal. Like, look at that trigger and say, wow, okay, what is this? What emotion is this raising for me? And how do I clear that? But then let it go, right? We don't need to rise up, because what they say is, they will die. That it's predetermined that these energies, if the earth shifts, these energies cannot stay on the earth plane. They just can't, and they will die. So that's a pre-known outcome. They will die, they will move on, right? So they're not going to be able to stay here. So there is no disquiet where we are. So the angels are saying, hey, we're not worried. You shouldn't be worried either. Have faith. We can already see the outcome. And we know the angels can see all things as they're happening, as they're unfolding. So they're saying, don't sweat it. And if it triggers you, great. Let that come up and spend time with the trigger and recognize that is a blessing, because as you raise your vibration, it becomes harder and harder and harder to find your junk. And so every trigger is a blessing, because you can look at it and say, oh my gosh, something got me. Where is that? I gotta find it. Go on the treasure hunt, right? Find that trigger. So it can still be of service, and then let it come up and let it go, and just trust we're all going to be okay. This is a predetermined outcome. And the energy that is not in the light, it will die and move on. So, and then they go on to say, next paragraph, they say, there are no happenings on earth that are not now assumed to be reviewed by ourselves. We are the guardians of where you dwell and why. However, you would like to know, why have we allowed this template for disturbance of mankind, this risk to yourselves as you perceive it? So I love that they acknowledge that. I love that they come out right up front and say, hey, do not worry, do not fear. There's nothing to worry about. Predetermined outcome. They see the end chapter of this already, and it can't be changed. It is the way it is. And they're saying, but at the same time, you're wondering, then why do we let it go on? If they are the guardians, they are in charge of the planet, right? They are the ones that they and I love that they say, we are the guardians of where you dwell and why. Again, so concise and so perfect, because they're the guardians of earth, where we dwell, and why we are here. They are guarding our life purpose. They're ushering us through our journey to help us to achieve what it is that we wanted to do when we came here. So they're accounting for both of those things, not only the sort of the safety and well-being of our world, but of our mission, of our desire to be here, of why we're here. So they're taking that into account at the same time that they're allowing these energies to be here. So we're saying, okay, how is that? Because it doesn't feel like it's good for us. It doesn't feel good. So they say, you would like to know, why have we allowed this template for disturbance of mankind, this risk to yourselves as you perceive it, right? And you're saying I was just discussing the energy of what we resist persists. Yeah, right? Yep. Yeah, totally. And then Hanvik is saying, if you hold all the attributes of an angel, what are you then? And you know, I think we all want to hold all the attributes of an angel, don't we? Like, I think that is the thing to look at how they are and how they think and how they feel, and to look and see, okay, how can I embody more of that? Yeah, for sure. Me too. So, okay, so let's go on. And they say, next paragraph. Okay, it has been allowed for some time now. A fragrance of yourselves lives within it. Each one has the being within themselves who would do wrong, who would chastise their better selves, their nature of peace, and leave the judgment of self to be vicious with another, unkind, to lag in their circumference of all things now vibrating within them, to live apart from now and circulate their passage in timing so distant as to leave the impression of this realm entirely, and to live between their brow. Yes, all happens within the self. So again, another powerful paragraph, and they're talking about, so this is here they're explaining why. They're explaining to us, why is it that they don't talk about this stuff? Why they allowed it, I mean. Why is it that they've allowed it? So they're saying it has been allowed for some time now. They say the fragrance of ourselves lives within it. So there are aspects of ourselves that are creating what's happening in terms of the polarity on Earth. And that includes the dark energies that are on the planet. So they say each person has the being within themselves who would do wrong. That if we were perfect, we would not be here anymore. If we were perfect, we would be reunited with source energy, right? So all of us have threads of disquiet in our nature. We have dark aspects within ourselves. There's parts of ourselves where we are still carrying wounding. And from those places, there are still places and circumstances under which we could do wrong. They're saying and those types of wrong, they're saying we would chastise our better selves. So what are the ways in which we have negative self-talk, right? How do we put ourselves down or limit ourselves? They're counting that, right, as a way that we would do wrong. They're saying their nature and who would chastise their nature of peace, their better nature of peace. So how do we disturb our own internal peace? They say, and leave the judgment of self to be vicious with another. So they're saying, okay, yes, on one hand, we're unkind to ourselves. We tear ourselves down. We limit ourselves. And then we also tear other people down. We are vicious to other people. We are unkind to other people, right? And then we say we lag in the circumference of all things now vibrating within them, to lag in their circumference of all things. So we don't embody or hold understanding that everything around us is us. we still blame. We still put things outside of ourselves and say, ooh, that's not me. That's something bad and it's not me. We don't draw everything in and say, oh, okay, everything in here is actually me. So they're saying that is we lag in that awareness, which would again be something against ourselves because it prevents us from feeling and knowing the truth of ourselves. They go on to say, so this is like a litany of things, this is things we're doing wrong, ways in which we are not living up to our full potential. And they go on to say, to live apart from now and circulate their passage in timing so distant as to leave the impression of this realm entirely and to live between their brows. So here they're saying this is about to live apart from now, so not living in the present, and to circulate their passage in timing, so to circulate, to leave their mind in timing so distant. So in other words, way in the past, we live in the past or we live way in the future, they say, as to leave the impression of this realm entirely. So we forget entirely about living in the now and we're living in the future or living in the past. They said, and to live between their brows. So we're stuck in our own heads. So these are all the ways in which we are, that we are living against ourselves. Right? These are all the ways in which we need to be triggered to become aware of these things that we're doing, the ways in which we limit ourselves, we hold ourselves back, we have an internal dialogue of negativity about ourselves. We then project that onto other people and are unkind to other people in terms of our judgments of them, right? We don't take accountability for all the things we're experiencing in the world. We don't draw them into our own circumference and understand it's all us, including this polarity that we're talking about. They say, and we live in the past or the future in all of our worry and our spinning, and we live in our own heads rather than living in the now and experiencing through the body, which is what we're supposed to be doing. So there we go. That's humanity in a nutshell. Ouch. Right? You're saying love the list and all the reminders, right? I know, right? So funny. So the yes, all happens within the self. Yeah. Yep. That is us. That is what we do. And I resemble that remark. So they go on to the next paragraph and they say, and how now do we perform the contraction of what you are to distill your essence while respecting free will? How do you encounter yourself now? There must be some agitation, some complexity is risen in this earthly now, and you perceive it at a distance and claim it, how you would distance yourself from it. But no, it lies within you. It lies at the heart of the matter, the essence of self. The polarity you are in is within the self. So there we go. So they're saying that how is it that they are going to help us if they need to respect free will? How is it that they're going to help us to see all of these things that we do where we hold ourselves back? How are they going to help us to see that, right? How do we encounter ourselves now? And they're saying there must be some agitation. There has to be some external force that comes up against us. That they can't come in and just tell us. It has to be an experience. We have to feel it. We have to know it. We have to learn through it. So some complexity is risen in this earthly now, and you perceive it as a distance and claim it. How you would distance yourself from it. So we're saying, okay, yeah, all that evil out there. How come they don't talk about that? They're saying, well, because it's all from inside of us, that if they just focus here on us, this is the root of it, right? This is coming to the source. It's like, do you focus on the symptom, right? Or do you focus on the core wound? All right, they go on next paragraph. They say, we heal you now through external essence, through righteous energy, through help and glory, through all means necessary. And as you rid and purge your being of these encumbrances now, you drift further from that plane of happening where these occurrences collide with self. Your own being perceives them now perhaps, but in time you alter and perceive them no more. This is happening in truth on all levels of existence here now, or here on this plane now. So they're saying this process as we heal and purge ourselves of the wounding that this energy on the planet is demonstrating, then we experience less and less and less of it. And so they're saying it makes a lot more sense for them to focus on us, that focus treating the symptom. It's sort of like if you are in a bad relationship and you say, okay, I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to leave this relationship. And then you go get into that new relationship of the same problems, or a new context with the same problems is just going to pop up in its place. So they're saying they got to work on us. They got to heal us and help us heal, so that then we don't just move ourselves back into the same circumstances. So they're saying we heal you now through external essence, through righteous energy, through help and glory, through all means necessary. I feel like we could break that apart and talk about that at length. That it's really, I think the core of it is through all means necessary. I think especially now, and I know this through my own work, through the healings that are happening with me, with the angels in client sessions, that it's like the gloves are off, that they will bring anything to the table that is allowed, that the person allows, that the person accepts and is willing to engage, and they'll bring anything to help heal them at this point. And I think the rules were a lot stricter in the past, and I think that's a shift. I think that in the past there was very strict rules about what angels were allowed to do. And I know in my own sessions that is changing. So they're really through all means necessary. What do they need to do to help us? And we are ridding and purging ourselves of these encumbrances now. We're drifting further from that plane of happening. So we are in the process of moving away from where these occurrences will collide with us. And that's great. That's phenomenal. Because the less energy we put into it, the less energy it has to feed on, right? And then it dwindles. And they say your own being perceives them now, perhaps, but in time you alter and perceive them no more. So we are all, as humanity, we are moving away from that plane where they can exist. All right, so this is happening in truth on all levels of existence here on this plane now. Super cool. So we are in process, as they're telling us. We are already moving away from this happening. So, okay, next paragraph, they say, we are piloting the resurgence of your line, the rising of your beings. We are here to amplify, to aid, to instruct as time goes by, and your essence will overpower any evil that remains. As you require, we are here to aid you now, but we speak not of this external now. We speak of yourself, of all that occupies your vision of yourself. And from here we access the template of all life to begin in harmony again. And that's that sentence that I feel like I want to just take that one sentence and stick it on my wall, because it says so much. We speak of yourself, of all that occupies our vision of yourself, and from here we access the template of all life to begin in harmony again. And so they're really saying that everything that's going on here is us. And so from working through us, they access the template of all life. So that is why they don't talk about it. They're saying they don't have to. They're saying, number one, it's not a contest. There's no contest. There's no doubt about the outcome. And number two, that the focus is here, that we are the template for everything we're experiencing. So focusing here is what makes sense. It's so simple, and it is such a truth bomb at the same time, right? And we know this, and at the same time, we have to be reminded of it over and over and over again, because this world is so incredibly immersive, and emotions are so real, and we feel it so fully. So you're saying, well, damn, love thyself. Yes. Yeah, exactly, Dawn. That and pistachio ice cream. Sorry, that's a little joke just between me and Dawn and everybody on Wisdom Soup. All right, you guys, amazing message. And I hope you guys felt it too. Really cool to hear. I think I think the meaning of this is put your mind at ease. Like, yes, there is stuff going on. There's stuff going on in the world, and we cannot deny it. And we don't want to deny it. That if you are, especially if you're perceiving it, if it's happening in your world, it's a blessing. Like experience it, feel it, let it trigger you. Whatever comes up is meant. And yeah, it's heating up like mad, because they are doing whatever is necessary right now to help us to move through these layers. And if you are experiencing this, it is that you are ready to let these energies come up, that they know you are able to cope with the friction that you're experiencing right now. And I know that it can be really, really hard. That I know that some of you, I personally know people who are really being drugged through it. And that is only because this is such an opportunity to heal, right? And you could be a very spiritually advanced person, somebody who has really
a super, super shiny soul. And you could be really feeling it. You could be getting attacked all the time. And so it has no reflection on how much light you are embodying. It's simply a reflection of the fact that you have signed up for a journey this time, and that you are trying to make as much progress as you possibly can, and you are welcoming being triggered, letting this move through you, and growing from it so that you can ascend to your highest potential. All right. You're saying, well, they are doing a good job of triggering me, and I'm so sorry for that. And at the same time, I'm so happy for you. I know it's awful, but that means that you are a very brave soul. And you are ready. You are ready for it, and you'll clear all that stuff that's coming up, and it's going to be amazing. So you're saying, thank you. This is one of my favorite messages. Thank you, Brandy. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, have an amazing weekend. I hope you have good weather wherever you are, and beautiful. And Easter on Sunday, if you are part of peace bathing, we will be seeing you. What an amazing thing to have peace bathing on Sunday. And if you want to join, you can do that. It's on my website, anntucker.com. If you want to join and be with us for peace bathing, you are very welcome. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing session. All right, you guys, sending lots of love, and I will see you next Friday live. Bye, you guys.